better late than never, as requested. Finally, Daredevil Born Again, the whole season. I hated that from the start. You were much more positive on it. How did you end up?
Well, I suppose the nicest thing we can say is that it sets the stage for a more engaging season 2.
Let's all say one nice thing about this last episode or season. Dan?
I still like Charlie Cox as Daredevil. He's still a fantastic Daredevil.
That doesn't count.
That's all I can give it, honestly. I hated that.
That's a
I
low
hated
ball.
the show.
I liked a nice practical head squash.
Oh, God, yeah, we'll get to that shit.
The season was a hodgepodge. I think there's a lot of confusion about what was what. A lot of people think that episode 1, 8, and 9 were shot by different people.
Yes.
But that is not true.
Oh.
Most, maybe. But every time you see Vanessa, that's a reshoot. They had a completely different actress hired for the first 6 episodes that played Vanessa.
Oh,
Bomb drop.
the same character, different actress.
Completely different actress played Vanessa because the original Vanessa wasn't available during that time.
Oh, shit.
But when they did the reshoots, she was available. So they figured we might as well get her in here. And all of her scenes are now different and completely pivotal to the whole, like, her being the one that hired Poindexter.
Whoa. So you're saying they recast Vanessa?
Yep.
And then they brought back OG Vanessa because she was available?
Yep.
So somewhere there's some other version of
Completely
Vanessa.
random Vanessa.
I need to know why, though. What was wrong with her?
They had original Vanessa, and the whole point was that they were redoing with the original stuff. Like, they were bringing back Foggy. Anytime you see Punisher, that's a reshoot.
Yeah, obviously.
He refused to come back. So that random bit in episode 4 is a reshoot. You can also tell with the tone. There's a fuck ton of ADR throughout the whole thing. Like, anytime they reference $1.8 million.
20 minutes of courage, lads. Then we got 1.8 mil and that fat bastard's off Luca's back.
Yeah.
It's a Frankenstein's hodgepodge. I think I would have rathered just the original vision and then change it for season 2.
But that being said, I can be very sympathetic because I'd say it's a low bar. But this is probably one of the better Marvel Disney shows I've seen. And considering it is this Frankenstein mess, I'm amazed it came out as okay / fairly good at times as it did.
I don't think we should be applauding multi-billion-dollar company for shitting something out, wiping, like, sprinkling some glitter on the shit. They have enough money to remake it.
I know.
They could have redone it.
But who was saying this? Probably the new guy who came in going, oh, so we're just going to remake it? You're Disney? No. Just reuse what you're doing. Put a new grade on it. He would have been pulling his hair out. And the fact that these guys, at least, they made it I think someone who isn't in the know as much maybe wouldn't even notice.
I think you have to feel it. Because, like, imagine episode 5, right? You go from your slightly goofy bank heist to Daredevil double stomping some guy's legs in half. You would be like, oh, God. Like, that is a different show. That is tonal inconsistency, and that makes things feel messy. I think normies would even realize, even just, like, story-wise, going from that big one-shot opener with all the stuff and then just cutting to 1 year later. Like, that feels weird.
I think we need to hold these companies who spend this much money to a much higher standard. And we can't compare them to things that are good but made for less. Like, you know, there needs to be somewhere to meet. Like, for example, Expedition 33 comes out.
I knew you were going to say this.
If that game was made by, just say, Bethesda, just because they're also relevant right now, or they're made by another AAA game studio, that isn't a game that should look like that made by a AAA game studio, a quadruple A game studio.
Does it look like shit?
It looks incredible.
It looks okay. It doesn't look incredible. It's okay for a game that's made for less on a studio run by 15 people. You can't hold those things to the same standard. So Disney had all of the money, all of the time. Yeah, exactly. And they still couldn't reshoot around this.
Yeah, they have the rare quadrant of everything.
Pick 2.
They have all 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's absolutely fair enough.
Was there a need to push this out, do you think? Is there any talk on the interwebs?
I don't even know if anyone was asking for it, because Daredevil ended, like, season 3 ended pretty definitively, like Fisk went back to jail, apart from the fact that they wanted Kingpin randomly to appear in Hawkeye and other stuff and, like, completely change his backstory, get him out of prison, because this season undoes everything. So they needed to bring us into it a lot better than the way they did.
I think if you're Marvel, you're actually a little bit annoyed that Netflix is using your property. It's like people have an asterisk next to Daredevil. They're saying, oh, Netflix is Daredevil. They're not saying Disney's Daredevil.
Yeah.
And it's not Marvel's Daredevil. This is Netflix's Daredevil. This is like Fantastic Four. When this new movie bombs, which I think it will, it's going to be, wow, I sure do miss Jessica Alba's Mrs. Fantastic, or, sorry, Invisible Woman. So I think Marvel is salty at these other companies that
They're trying
own
to redo them all.
their licenses, and they're like, we can do this.
They can't even do Blade.
Oof, yeah, cancelled. It's also that I guess like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. They've gone through every other IP they have. So now they're like, okay, we know that Daredevil works. It worked well enough in 2003, and then it worked really well for Netflix. We'll take that. We'll do that now. And that, because what else is there?
That is a good question.
I really like the part where Fisk crushed that subscribe button.
This was originally conceived as a 16-episode problem of the week thing.
Yep.
But then 6-7 episodes in, for whatever reason, shit wasn't working.
Yeah.
I don't know the reasons why. The dailies were coming back, and we were like, why the fuck is Kamala Khan's dad obsessed over his homemade pop
Funko
vinyl?
Pop.
All we know is they filmed 6 episodes, and then Kevin Feige or someone said it sucked and that it was bad that Daredevil wasn't in the suit until episode 5.
Yeah, because he was spread too thin, right? Because, not to bring it back, but apparently there was Blade was about to go off and film, and Kevin was like, I can't just read the script. And then he read the script, was like, no, back to the drawing board. He let it get that far, apparently. Spread way too thin, that guy. Yeah.
They need to stop letting this air.
The rumour mill is that with Kathleen stepping down, they think he might.
It's like jumping from one burning ship to another burning ship.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We'll talk about the finale first, and then we'll jump to the season as a whole. So in the finale...
We open on what we were joking about, and that is fucking Vanessa going to prison.
Yes, and talking
to directly tell Bullseye, you got to do this for me. And we said how dumb it is that Queenpin, just as organised as Kingpin, if not more.
If better.
All that you've done, that you've built for us.
Surely couldn't have directly... going to contact with Bullseye, it would have been through a series of intermediaries.
Through Buck.
And got Bullseye that way. But no, it turns out she went physically to prison.
I think he was in a mental institution.
Mental institution.
And he hates her, and, he hates Fisk, so by association, her.
I have a dumb theory because in that scene, they put sound on someone bouncing a ball in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there and it's on sound. I wonder if there's an extended version where he grabs the ball and throws it and ricochets off someone's head or something.
Definitely not. That's way too cool. Do you know what would have been cool? If he grabbed a pill, because she takes away his pills.
Oh, yeah.
If he grabbed it back and then grabbed one and was like, but she would have said something I need to know that you still have it. And he would have been like,
Imagine episode 8, he spits the tooth and just hits the guy in the forehead, and he's like, what the fuck,
He's
dude?
like, damn it, nearly.
We cut to Daredevil recovering.
I think people need to start calling Matt out on being blind. People need to be like, are you actually blind to him? Because
I just heard someone yell gun.
yeah, I heard someone yell gun and I jumped in front. How did you know he was there, Matt? You were dancing with Vanessa.
I'm not surprised that Heather didn't, miss I saved myself. Wasn't there trying to say, no, I saved Kingpin, actually.
I pushed you
in front. Yeah.
Hey, that's the head of mental health you're talking about there.
Oh, shit, true. That's right. She gets promoted in this episode.
At the very, very end.
All the while, Fisk is using this moment, this opportunity, you might say, to shut down the city entirely. I don't know how locking everyone in and turning off all the power.
Because he wants to get all of them and he wants full control, right? So it's the whole chaos.
But he's also weeding out his stuff at the same time.
Yeah. He's using all the chaos to do his stuff with the port. But before Daredevil gets out, not Wesley, Buck. Hate the name Buck. Has he told all his private team, I know this sounds crazy.
That blind
blind guy is actually Daredevil. Because they all seem to act like, it's bad for the optics that he saved you. Why is it bad for the optics that, because Matt Murdock has pursued Kingpin into prison?
We can't now say, he has a mask on.
But whose optics is it bad for? Sure, it's bad for Matt Murdock's optics. I mean, obviously his public optics. I mean, his actual optics are always
I can see it being bad for his optics if you're trying to frame him for being Daredevil, but he's legitimately Daredevil. You can prove that with all the suits in his room.
They're not in his room. They're on the roof.
Yeah, but his defenses shine this light in my eye. Look, I don't react.
Superheroes exist in this world, though, so you don't have to be too crazy.
We'll get to that in a minute. The superheroes exist in this world because...
In New York, especially. What was Spider-Man doing?
No, but that's what I'm saying. We're on lockdown. It's okay, has Doctor Strange got anything to say about this? Doctor Strange, one of the most powerful people in the world?
You see, DC solved this by saying one hero per city.
Luke Cage, Iron Fist. I'll take an Iron Fist at this point.
Please. There are 300 heroes in New York.
So he's going to send Buck to go kill Daredevil. And Buck doesn't even get in the room, man. Daredevil just slips past him like it's no worries.
Fisk's idea is what we're going to do, all right? We're going to turn off the lights. No one's going to be able to see. My biggest arch nemesis, he can see in the dark.
Doesn't need to see.
Because he knows that Daredevil can hear well because of that conversation.
Don't say anything.
That is him knowing Daredevil can hear well.
Yeah.
So wouldn't he, Fisk, being of a good intelligence, go, we need to, I mean, getting nerdy, we need to overwhelm his senses. So I want like loud noises in that room at all times, just overwhelming everything.
It's invincible. How they
Invincible,
Mark.
yeah, why not?
The internet is convinced that Fisk is smart enough to have figured out, the only way he could be Daredevil is if he has like heightened senses and is good at
there's
stuff.
no moment in the previous series in which it's made clear to him that.
Never gets his backstory. So he's going off completely like educated guesses. The internet seems fine with it. They're like, oh, he's smart enough, he would figure it out. But you're right, that would lead to, if he can figure out that, why not figure out a way to stop his power or like use that to his advantage? And also Daredevil didn't know that Fisk knew what his powers were up until that moment kind of deal.
Right.
So it seems like they've just kind of brushed over it it was a cool moment where he's like, where they're whispering to, where he's whispering to him. That was cool.
It was a cool moment.
But it's completely nonsensical, realistically. So that's unfortunate. But then, yes, Buck goes to kill Daredevil.
It's weird because like Buck goes to the hospital and then it's just, you just never see him again. Like you don't get a resolution to that. It's just Matt's in his apartment and then Punisher shows up.
That's fucking everyone in this whole show, though. Everyone just vanishes.
But Buck arrives again with James Gandolfini's boy when he's blackmailing the people on the council. He goes, Mayor Kingpin's really into all your stuff like your $500,000 investment overseas. And Buck's there, like in the background, like feeding him the information.
I think that must be somewhat of a backtrot on the reshoots they did. Because, like, with that episode where the swordsman is in it and he's like, being told off by all the rich people. Kingpin comes off as like on the back foot in that episode where all the rich people are talking down to him, even though we called that out as insane because he's the kingpin of crime. Everyone in the world knows that. And these rich people are like, you suck, haha, we're the real power.
Yeah.
Never were. But then in this episode, they've tried to retool that, and use it as like, oh, he does have something on all of them. Kingpin never did anything to get that information. It's just in one episode, he's on the back foot. In the next episode, Gandolfini's being like, haha, gotcha.
After that, old Matt made your first point is he goes back to the apartment after he's had the conversation with Vanessa and his lawyer friend, and they're like, mate, you just need to calm down, whatever you're talking about. Like, they just basically say,
Foggy.
I fucking hate how flippant everyone is on Kingpin. Everyone's like, Kingpin can't be the bad guy.
Again.
Like Heather that is in... Okay, Heather loves Matt. Matt tried to put Kingpin in jail. Kingpin now out of jail, and she's just like, yeah, he's a good guy. Like, what do you mean, Matt? He has to be a good guy. Fucking... lawyer friend that isn't Foggy is like, oh, he's a good guy. What do you mean?
I mean, no one who's ever had an assassination attempt in their life has been a bad guy, right?
What? Punisher rocks up.
Punisher rocks up at his house and he's like,
hey, Red, you looking pretty shit, Red. What are you called? Nurse man? What does he get? He says, what do you... Punisher call. He's like, is that your new outfit, Red? What do they call you, Nightgown Man?
yeah.
I'm like, that was like...
Do you think he parkoured home or walked home with his ass out? Like,
very true.
No, he did have his ass out, yeah.
he would have done it. Maybe he put his undies on.
Maybe a taxi?
He probably could have got changed. He could have just waited for Buck to leave and then got changed.
Maybe. He gets there and he's like, time to suit up. They're coming up. And there's just these like, don't kill them, but, you know, I can't be fucked if you do.
Although he does still stop them.
No, they ADR in. Frank, stop.
Frank, stop.
Frank, stop!
It's like, what the? I'm like, was that Matt?
Yeah, like, Father, I want to be on my own. Whatever the fuck.
When can I leave the village?
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
The rest of the episode really is a fight as far as those two go.
But there's very boring in between their fights with Karen.
Oh, you don't like Karen?
I love Karen. Ever since True Blood, I've loved the actress who plays Karen.
It grew back. Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry.
The one thing I didn't like about Karen in this episode is I don't like that she's giving Matt the pep talks. I know she's
Like,
a very
where the fuck
important
have
figure
you
in his
been?
life.
Yeah.
Yes. And last time we saw her, she was like walking out on him.
She's a narrative device. They needed her to come back and give a pep talk.
But do you know who Matt should have gotten the fucking pep talk from? A priest. That's Matt, right? He's down. He doesn't know
He's
what to
old
do.
priest bud.
I think I'm going to kill someone. My son, you need to forget these things. Blah, blah, blah. Priest wisdom. That takes him back to his roots. Like, Matt always gets reset to his roots by religion.
It's not a bad fight. It is in the dark. It's probably the best fight we get in the show because it's mostly real. It's very
I
graphic.
really like that bullseye fight at the start.
And I wish it was good. But just before the random grenade from some guy comes in, They have another little philosophical debate about whether it's okay to kill people, even though this guy killed people.
Daredevil's co-signing on these murders. Like, he's not here trying to stop him.
It's the only conversation they know how to have. It's crazy.
Frank goes to shoot him. Matt says no. And he goes, what's the difference between me shooting this guy and shooting this guy? Shoots another guy. And then Daredevil just holds the bullet up to him and says, did you kill Hector with this bullet? And then just gives him a big old uppercut.
But Bright Eyes did kill Hector. Oh, for some reason, he was the one that killed Hector. As in, like, not built up to.
How did Matt know that?
Not alluded to.
Is this your bullet?
He can feel the... Oh, yeah, that would have just been scattered around.
Yeah.
So he was just hoping
he
the
just
last
felt a
guy...
bullet with a Punisher logo on it.
Because I guess that guy's the only guy that does that.
He's the only
Thank
guy
God
left.
Punisher doesn't do that too.
Yeah, what if they all did that? Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. I think that Hector shooting might have been a reshoot. I don't know whether Hector died in the original cut, but the Punisher stuff was new. So like that guy walking towards the camera with the Punisher logo on his shirt, complete new stuff. But yes, Karen really doesn't do anything. She gives the pep talk.
And she gets a little bit flirty, bit of a love triangle with Frank.
Did you hear my heart when I came?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was just the adrenaline.
Which feels invasive. I'm pretty sure Foggy says that to him at one point. Fuck.
He feels unclean.
Yeah, like Foggy's like, you're just out here listening to everyone's heartbeats? That's fucking weird, man. Like,
That's because Foggy was the best and I loved
Well,
him.
they also, weren't they college roommates? It's like, how often did you hear Foggy jerking off?
And also, because he thought he couldn't see.
Yeah,
So
very
like
true.
that's why he's
oh
so
no,
mad.
like he's just down a casual chat.
Yeah, that's why he's so mad.
danger wanking with Matt. Like,
She's like, he doesn't know. And Matt's just like, well, it's like, what are you going to do? Give up your secret identity or just
or
let
maybe
him jerk
Foggy's
one
been
off?
onto him that whole time. It's like, no, you know,
He knows he's calling his bluff. He's like, I can just jerk up wherever.
Bro, what? And I doubt he knows. That was probably why he was so mad. Where do we go after that? Karen saves them. We get an interesting scene because there's a lot of history between these people. Karen hated Punisher when she last saw him.
Yeah.
It was one of her many "we're done" speeches to him.
Yeah.
But it was like the final "we're done." But then she also gave a "we're done" speech to Matt. But then now it's like this horrible situation forced us back together, and they're doing like awkward small talk, you know? And I'm like, we needed to see a bit more of Karen before we got back to this.
I mean, it's the grander problem with this stuff is that it's like, okay, you want to watch Daredevil, well, you have to watch season 1, 2, then you have to watch Defenders, season 3, then you have to watch Punisher 1, 2, and then you start Born Again.
That's what this show tried to avoid by doing it completely separately from the show. And then this is kind of like tried to undo it. So now we have both problems. We have a season with fucking Cherry and Muck that have nothing to do with anything, get no development. And then they're also going to bring back the legacy cast, and they're like, oh, we already know you like them.
It also doesn't tell you stuff that it's referring to in its own show. Like, it's talking about Foggy's case at some points in this, and I'm like, they didn't go that in-depth in it in the first episode.
It was a case and that there was a witness.
Wouldn't it be good if like it was a bit more complicated and that's been like Matt's weird little thing, like you can't let Foggy go, so he's constantly trying to make the case work. So he just can't make it work because he wants to do it because it was Foggy's last case.
Feels like they could have done other stuff. Like you talk about how it's admirable what they managed to do with this show.
It's a hard task. You've been hired by Disney. Like, no, you're not reshooting.
They tried to shape it into something that it completely wasn't. Surely you could have like lent it one direction rather than trying to like butcher it and then hack the pieces back together and hope for the best.
So when Matt and Karen, they go to like Foggy's old storage space. They do a very lazy thing of like, they talk character stuff like, you know, you like Frank. And then when that's done, hey, what's this? But it's just, they immediately
Avocados at law, huh?
Yeah. And then turns out that Foggy stumbled across somebody apparently he didn't realize just exactly what he stumbled across. And turns out that the port in New York is because some weird abstract thing from the 1800s, some bootleg is yonder the heart of the United States, of New York state law or American state law, and it's actually its own sovereign nation, technically.
It's torture. Crime is legal.
Yeah, they get to do whatever they want on there, and then that's how they're gonna launder billions, do whatever the fuck they want.
Gambling.
Which is this super weird, again, it feels like a backtrack, because money wasn't Kingpin's goal when he became mayor. He wanted to be mayor, he wanted to fix the city a different way. Because like the end of the Echo show, he looks at the mayor thing after he's been healed spiritually, and he's like, Mayor, I can fix the city, but the right way. This show carries that on. He does no crime. He's kind of like, hey, Vanessa, we have to stop doing crime because of that. And then this final episode, he's like, haha, idiots, I was planning to do crime the whole time.
yeah, that is weird. And then obviously, not that it matters because it's a made up thing, but asked my lawyer brother-in-law and he...
Credentials.
He's a very well-versed practicing lawyer.
In America.
He practiced in America.
He's
but obviously, he's maritime lawyer, port, maritime. So when he knows
He's actually Daredevil.
No, he's more like Jag.
Oh, he's Jag. but the water, not the sky.
like a load of nonsense. That like, if you seriously like, haha, this is our own port nation, America will just roll up and go, we're invading and taking over.
I'm okay with it being a loophole that no one notices,
Yes.
but as soon as he starts using it,
People in the world know.
yes, then they would be like, oh no, that's not.
Because-
Well, like Iron Man would be like,
It
that's
doesn't
not
stay a
allowed.
secret forever.
There's no more Iron Man.
Oh.
You mean Ironheart?
I know. Oh no.
All right.
Fucking,
Yeah, that's
fucking
what it does
Riri
with it.
Williams lands and she's like, you're not allowed to do that. Anyway.
So he's done that. Now, he's put the city on lockdown. And thankfully, I know Marko was happy to see this. Thankfully, we get a BB report.
Oh god.
Yes.
It suddenly comes back, which
Sorry,
is
I fast-forwarded
which
it.
makes me think either that was in the original cut, because like I was saying, how it's like it's more of a hodgepodge. It's not episode 1, 8, and 9. Why the fuck do we have a BB report?
They should have doubled
We
down.
didn't have a
He goes
BB
home
report.
and edits and like these Fox Pops.
We haven't had a BB report in like 3 days.
In a power outage, she managed to.
She's got like a DJI generator. She's like sponsored by. She's like, when the power goes down for the BB report, I like to use Verizon and this.
I'm going
hotspot."
rustic.
Oh, she fucking is the whole time
But
anyway.
then she shoot, but then the coppers also shoot a regular guy who's just nicking a teller. He goes, man, he's just a kid. No, he ain't.
Do you know what that is? That's the old sprinkle a bit of crack on him. It's like Dave Chappelle. And I know this happened. Someone on set that day was like, can we make sure it's not a black person that they shoot?
Oh,
The episode where Muse is stealing White Tiger Niece's blood, that was reshot, because in the original cut, there was a black guy on the table. So potentially, do you know the guy that Matt gets out of prison that for like stealing?
oh, he fed back in.
The
Cereal?
caramel corn and stuff.
He made was back in.
That was maybe that guy who Muse kidnapped, and that's why Matt went after them. Because he disappeared, up he disappears immediately. That's the only real correlation that I can think of.
And
Like, it wasn't Riri Williams, which is why maybe that fight was cool.
What about the random ass billionaire for me from episode 7? Like that whole billionaire case.
Oh, yeah.
Like I felt like he probably
Yeah,
had
yeah,
5 or
yeah.
6.
Yeah, I didn't do it, bro.
Yeah, it's like he felt like he existed for episodes.
He existed to make Matt get angry, I think.
Yeah,
That's
Which
what
is
I mean.
Matt-
I don't like dealing with these people. I want to deal with people who pay me in fish.
It's confusing that they kept what they did.
Punisher decides that while he is on the walkie-talkie, we'll meet you back at the dock. So he decides to go maybe suicidally. Isn't this the guy who like perfectly took out the Irish mafia? In like you didn't even see him.
Killed literally
He
everyone.
sniped them, blah blah blah. So he's going to go into their home territory and just try and like tank them
With like one gun.
Yeah, I'm like, surely the Punisher, if he wasn't suicidal, which I'm throwing him that crop, surely he'd be like, nah, I've got to like park up back there and just pip him off. Because technically not breaking any laws.
Yeah.
Daredevil, does he suit back up and get another fight? He doesn't, does he? He thinks about going in.
He
and
thinks
it's
about it.
like super lame. Like there isn't really a finale moment here.
I wish the last 30 minutes of this episode was compacted into 5. It could have been a speech from Karen. We're going to need a team. I'm going to rebuild this city. Done.
Because instead, Frank gets captured, not killed.
Make sure you use non-lethals. They make sure to say that.
The whole city's on lockdown now because we're just trying to kill off vigilantes.
Which again, how does that help you? And also, we know of one vigilante. 2, I guess, but...
Oh.
The Daredevil Netflix show was always they're always a bit hand-wavy about the connection to the main MCU. They would say like, oh no, it is sort of connected, don't worry. And you get in season 1, they called it The Incident, the Avengers movie, and there would be reference to like, really a guy in a mask? If it was a guy in an iron suit or a magic hammer, I'd understand. But so all these little cute little old references.
And keep in mind, this was...
Pre-Avengers Ultron. This Matt Murdock has met Spider-Man. He has met She-Hulk. He has fought with Echo to a standing draw. So we now know this is a world that's set in the MCU. So I think there is a bit of a problem where I think Thunderbolt's finale is in New York. And we've got the guy phasing people out of existence. Mayor Kingpin has thrown a lockdown, so we can't possibly have this final battle here. And then also... I mean, imagine going like waking up your Doctor Strange. You're like, oh, sorry, or Wong, oh, sorry, Sorcerer Supreme. You can't leave. It's like, the fuck you talking about? I mean, it's one of these things that you have to ignore it. But what annoys me is that in the original Daredevil, which is why Defenders got criticised, but those initial seasons, it is small enough that maybe no one would be involved. Like Iron Man maybe wouldn't think about Kingpin.
Like Luke Cage isn't getting any help from the Avengers stopping crime in Harlem.
And so, yeah, you're doing this thing with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and you're going to go, well, that Kingpin task force is going to take out Spider-Man.
To the point where they play the Spider-Man theme at the end of the episode.
What?
Of this episode?
You didn't know? Yeah, they play the Spider-Man theme at the end of this episode.
I feel like the show just kind of fizzles out, right? Like,
oh, dude, it just, nothing happens.
Oh, we have a fucking how dare you needle drop Radiohead. You did not earn the Radiohead needle drop. Turns out it's one of those things I fucking hate where it's like all of this was just in service of next season, where it's like Daredevil's fully back, the place is on lockdown, Bullseye is out and about, Kingpin's fully Kingpin, and somehow still mayor, and the president isn't going to come and impeach him or whatever, surely, right?
With all the re-edits and rewrites, they tried to focus it in on Matt and Kingpin becoming who they were last season. So I'm like, you didn't even break them down. You just kind of started with them being shitty.
But we also didn't get enough of them.
That's the thing. It's like we talked so much about how it's supposed to be the dichotomy between the two, and it's like two sides of the same coin, yada yada. But I feel like I barely saw Matt this season. I like Daredevil or Matt. I barely saw him this season. I saw a bunch of Kingpin kind of not doing anything.
And then we get a quick cut towards the end of White Tiger's niece, because I think there was a thought that she was just going to fizzle away.
I think she was completely reshoots as well, because she's never in a scene with Hector or anything like that. So they want her to be the White Tiger. So we're going to have her at some point teaming up as one of the young Avengers, I would say. So this is her setup.
What do you think is a bigger letdown? Because I remember when people originally were like, what Civil War was in the comics, what we got, and it's like the two teams of 5 or 6 people fighting. That or Karen and Matt being like, we're going to need an army. And then you zoom in on Josie's. All right, roll call.
Bartender.
Josie, Matt, Karen, Cherry, negotiator cop maybe.
Not Foggy.
And then 2 other female police officers.
Team.
That's an army.
Well, I mean, in fairness, they did wipe out most of the Punisher's goons. Actually, the anti-vigilante task force was huge because they killed a bunch in the apartment.
I mean, there's everybody that was hanging around Fisk still.
This is the problem, right? Because Spider-Man, Kingpin is shared between Spider-Man and...
Kingpin cannot appear in the movies because of legal rights.
Spider-Man probably can't appear in the series, right?
But yeah, I think it's worse than the sum of its parts. Like, they didn't make it better. They didn't make it more consistent. They made it worse in every way by adding all this bullshit.
There's nothing fun about this show, and it's hard watching it. And look, at some point we can acknowledge this would have been a nightmare forever it was, but this is sitting on the streaming network. It costs me the same money to watch this as it does the original Daredevil show and anything else that Disney has on the platform. So I'm watching it, as it's on, it's a product on the shelf, and you can't come and tell me in the front room, like Jackie Chan said, are you going to go to every movie theater and tell them that, on that day it was raining and we couldn't get the shot we wanted? You've got to make it right the first time.
Yeah.
The whole Shigeru Miyamoto fucking thing. I can go, reshoots and all that shit, but unfortunately, you've kind of delivered if you're a Daredevil fan, a really subpar, crap Daredevil show.
But people still love it, weirdly.
It's a good Disney Marvel show,
yes.
But it's a crap Daredevil show.
So is that why people are loving it? Is it because we've been force-fed absolute shit for ages that anything, that some semblance of the olden days people are just loving?
Well, what did this follow up? What are the last Marvel properties? Because you can kind of count the new Captain America in there.
Agatha All Along.
You're still coming off of the low that was, She-Hulk and the Marvels and
this is at least somewhat familiar because we've seen these characters. So it's kind of it's Stockholm syndrome. We already like Matt and Fisk, so they're giving us more Matt and Fisk. So we're kind of tricking ourselves into it. Because this is definitely not the worst show Marvel has put out, despite it being the least consistent.
I don't understand why they have to set up such a next season to hold on to this hope that, no, this was just the groundwork for something great. I think that's where the show kind of shits the bed is, a good show just finishes. Like I'm watching House at the moment with this, and each season finale of House just finishes. It puts a bow on the season and the overarching like thing of the
Stop
season.
watching when he leaves the asylum.
Yes, to your point, but they knew they had 18 episodes and they still chose to make these first 9 almost nothing but setup. Yes, they were playing with someone else's toy box, but if anything, it's more of a build-up towards the Punisher show, the 3 episodes they used.
Which we're getting, right? We're getting a Punisher show.
Which makes sense considering these are Punisher writers.
I consider this half of the first episode of the Punisher show.
Oh, completely. But it's just so annoying that they didn't bother to do anything with the time they had, because they had time.
As much as we love Charlie Cox and we love Vincent D'Onofrio, retrospectively, do you think they should have just went, look, the Netflix show's the Netflix show, we're just going to recast, we're just going to start fresh?
I don't know if we need to recast because they're so loved, but I guess it would make it messier if they didn't.
I think that brings up another form of detachment that people can use so that people would stop comparing it to Netflix though.
But they probably wouldn't watch it all. I think if you say, hey, we're redoing Daredevil 7 years later, completely different people, by the way, it's worse.
But what was their logic for Echo?
Well,
Native Americans are going to love this.
I feel like the same way Blade has now completely died.
You
I
watch
feel
your
like
mouth.
they probably had Daredevil almost teetering. They probably had 3 or 4, 5 ways of re-entering Daredevil into the universe.
It's that some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah. But like, you know, when he's all like yellow Daredevil and being quippy in LA, like that was probably someone's pitch at some point.
Well, that was the original.
Yeah, like what if he's that quippy version that Stan Lee originally vowed?
But this also isn't really Frank Miller Daredevil.
No, it's
because
not.
like we have one moment in episode 2 where he stands outside of a church, but part of me is now thinking that wasn't a church originally and they've like made it a church, because he does pray a little bit, but that's so far in the background versus
He listens.
the Netflix
He
show.
listens to a mass or something.
Yeah, but like
and
he does like
prays
one
to
prayer
Foggy.
at some point,
Yeah.
holding the Foggy thing. But in the Netflix, that was core. Like they would, they wouldn't shut the fuck up.
That's
about
why I
it.
said at the start.
That's why it's weird.
Religion grounds him. That's how he knows not to kill people.
But it is weird that they at least allude to like him having some form of crisis of faith, but yet it isn't explored at all.
Yep, you'd think he would be every day in confession, being like, I fucked up.
We've joked before, like, it feels like Matt's doing the same lessons all the time, like the system's corrupt, so maybe we would be here criticising, Matt once again going to religion, but it's meant to be that thing that he always has. It's connected to his mother, it's this thing that's important to him.
And the message never changes as well. He goes there and he gets the same message every time.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a restitution of his core beliefs.
They probably just shouldn't have made the show.
I think the positive thing is, it leaves us in an interesting, now focused place where we've got rid of all this jank and we can now tell the story we want to tell, which is Daredevil fighting Kingpin, who's now back at the top of the podium.
But what pisses me off is we were already at that point. We've done that. Like, if anything, we had a more interesting setup this season with what the original creators were doing. And all these new people have done is reset it back to where we were at the beginning of season 3.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because now but...
So it's like, speaking of characters, Matt starts the season as the Matt we know from season 3. So he tries to kill Bullseye after he kills Foggy, and then he goes, I guess I cannot be Daredevil anymore, even though Daredevil could have saved Foggy, whereas Matt couldn't have done any. Like, if I was just Matt, I couldn't have done anything. So nonsensical to me that he quits being Daredevil. He should quit being Matt.
Because he tried to kill someone, so it's like he broke
that
his...
would make him quit being Matt, not quit being Daredevil, surely. He beats people almost to death in episode 2, kicks the shit out of them in episode 5. Like, he does it multiple times, but still takes until Ayala is in danger to go, fuck it, and then become Daredevil.
What gets me curious is what was the reason for him not being in the suit in the original run? If it wasn't the death of Foggy, like what made him not be Daredevil?
Foggy did die in the original, but it was...
It's off camera.
Random crime, which again makes even less sense to me as to why he would stop being Daredevil, because like more Daredevil could have stopped random crime, not less Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think this whole season, hear me out here, could have not existed and they started...
Season 2.
They start with whatever season 2 is going to be, and everything that happened in season 1 just gets told through a flashback and well-written stories. New York's on fire because Fisk already be the mayor and we start with the world on
I
fire.
honestly won't be surprised if we say this in a few years. Let's say season 2 is great. They just found their footing, and you hear going, yeah, fuck season 1. Let's go straight to season 2.
But like, I guess monetarily, they want to shit something out onto the platform so that they'll have subscribers watch. And then next year, when they release season 2, they get more watch time. So they just weren't willing to write this season off, which is weird because WB is more than willing to write stuff off. We know they can tax break.
Yeah.
We know you can delete an entire movie and say, oh, it just wasn't good enough. So like we get our money back. Why didn't Disney just do that? Tax break, retry. And I don't understand money.
So they're going, we can't go back up to corporate and go, we're going to have to do back to the drawing board, new episodes, scrap these 6 episodes, put them in the bin. So they had to like sell it upstairs. Look, we got new guys coming in, we're changing the story division, but we're going to chop what we've got and try and make sense of it. Like it had to be a pitch up. Like, if you want to get season 2, if you want this thing to keep going, we've got to make this make sense.
Sure, it was a negotiation.
Yeah.
You need to make something out of what you've already used.
Yeah.
So that we'll give you money for season 2.
Potentially the original version might have ended close to this version because they shot new material. They didn't shoot like entirely new episodes. So like some of the stuff we saw might have been from the original.
Was Gandolfini in the original?
I would say so because he's so ineffectual. Like he doesn't add anything like gruesome or like, and he's in a lot of it. Even if he doesn't say much or do much, it's like he is
I'd be super curious to see. I mean, we never will, but like, it'd be cool to see what those 6 episodes look like as their original intended
even
vision.
just the scripts. Just get me the scripts.
Maybe they were just super hodgepodge and they couldn't figure out what they were. They were trying to be funny. They were. Because what is it that they were seeing that they were like, yeah, this isn't it. Like people just want the Netflix Daredevil. Like,
But it had to be enough that it got greenlit. So it's something that sounded good on paper.
Oh, it's Daredevil. He's a lawyer vigilante. 18 episodes, like in the vein of like a typical
courtroom,
like
Daredevil, courtroom, Daredevil, courtroom.
Yeah, it's a network show. I would have been pretty keen if they went. We've shot 18 episodes. It's in that like it's in a network TV show style. It's we want to illustrate. We want to make it feel like a comic book. It's a new episode every week. It's not an overarching style, but I guess somebody somewhere said no. People really like the Netflix style. They want that. And I know it just feels like we've been building this for years. Like Kingpin was in that Hawkeye show.
They like it enough, but they obviously weren't sold on all the little bits and pieces. So it was a weird idea from the get-go. I won't deny that. But again, I think what they came up with wasn't good. And I'm calling it now. I don't think season 2 will be good. It'll be better.
Yeah, it'll be better.
I hope more consistent, but I don't think it'll be good still because they're not doing anything different.
They're filming fresh. There is no
I think
crap.
it's completely them.
Perfect.
But they're going off this hodgepodge season as their starting point.
Well, because their end point is fairly interesting, at least.
But all they're doing is I have no characters that I give a shit about. I don't give a shit about Cherry. No one in the show I care about. So they're basically starting from scratch.
How would you feel if it's, you get back and like all these people have been written off camera and it's like...
We know Bullseye is back and we know Daredevil gets a new suit with it's black and the double Ds. Honka, honka.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
That autistic guy's like, I had to build them in for you.
It seems that now in this world, this Daredevil had a whole major run we never see. He had like 5 different outfits with different colors, and he had a whole like kind of like maybe a little bit too techie for Daredevil, in my opinion. Like a little like upstairs shed. Like it used to be just something in the back of the wardrobe.
Matt, how did you get that made?
Yeah. Well, it's that guy in She-Hulk. He has that special tailor in LA who does it for him.
Gross.
But someone came and built a room for him? Yeah. What do you rate this show? I give it 4 hospital gowns out of 10.
Out of 10.
Open at the back?
Open at the back.
It is weird because you want to be...
You've said you will never rewatch this.
But I think that's the damning thing, right? I'm never going to rewatch this again.
It's kind of sad how hyped you were.
Because there's nothing in it. Like, I've rewatched the first season of Daredevil 2 or 3 times in the 10 years it's been out.
It doesn't do anything interesting with any of the characters we know, and it doesn't introduce anything new with the new characters.
Yeah.
Because the new characters are legitimately nothing. Like, I'm shocked by how little they are.
I mean, you've been nice. You've done the best of a bad situation. If somebody came along, saw a good thing, decided to do something else, that shits. Then someone else came along and tried to make it seem like the old thing that it was. So then stupid old me at the start of season 1, who got his one-take bullseye fight, was like, oh, I see something in it. But then, like, you know, like that was a false hope thing.
You just gotta learn that I'm always right.
I changed my score to 2.5. I'm thinking about it. 4's way too high.
Sadly, I know we're being harsh, but you have to be honest with us. Like, you aren't going to watch this again.
Oh, what's your favorite episode that you're going to put on repeat for your... But no one's rewatching that as their comfort episode.
Probably not. But I still think Bank Heist is the best episode. And it's kind of weird still.
Daredevil, and there wasn't Matt. There was Matt Devil.
There's nothing about this series that makes you go, well, yeah, that was like, you know, like the way when you watched Penguin, like it was, yeah, you could watch, you could rewatch Penguin again and be happy with that experience. Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's a below to barely average, properly 4 to 5 out of 10. Like it's a below average show, and I think you got to be realistic. You're not going to rewatch it.
I think fundamentally garbage on, again, like the filmmakers themselves that did, like the people shooting it, lighting it, acting in it, all did really well. Realistically, everyone did a good job that wasn't in the writing room or like...
Actor for Muse was dog shit too.
Oh, we had nothing to do. It was like, they were like, all right, look at her and be creepy.
That is probably the stupidest plot ever.
But it's also the strongest bit.
You learned Taekwondo from a Taekwondo teacher, but then you killed the Taekwondo teacher. Really weird storyline just to explain why struggling artists can do a back kick, spinning back kick.
Love it. But Daredevil versus a serial killer, we haven't done that. The Punisher wasn't a serial killer.
I'd happily have had Muse be like this main plot.
I think at the Man of Kills, it's technically a terrorist.
Yeah.
Yes. if I was rewriting this season and got to add some stuff, I would do more Muse stuff. I would make Muse the big bad.
He should have been the whole season, yeah.
Like, even if you remove most of the fights, because you can't have him survive. Yeah, I feel like you should have expanded the Muse plot. You still had the actor. You did reshoots with him to have, like, Ayala in the background.
Unless it's a different guy.
Almost completely, I would probably almost remove real him and his therapy obsession with Heather.
And just have Muse
and just have him kill people. And give him his powers so that he actually stands a chance.
But then that could be it. Imagine Web Muse where it's just someone who's mindlessly killing. Like you could go, Frank, you know, there was a logic. He was a grieving father. I can make something make sense with that. But for this guy to just be killing people because he's killing people.
Yeah, the devil
like,
is real.
Then there you go. Like, I'm not the devil. He is.
I need to take him down.
Do you remember when the first half of this season was just Kingpin and Vanessa in therapy? Wasn't that great?
That Vanessa stuff, that therapy stuff was in the rewrite because Vanessa shouldn't have been there. So they had a chance to redo that.
So I guess in summary, this was not a good Daredevil show, but it's probably the best Disney Marvel show there is, but that's still a backhanded fuck you comment.
I'm also extra mad at the show because I did watch seasons 1, 2, and 3 right before it, and they are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they are some of the best TV in general, not just like superhero TV. Like, they're legitimately just good seasons.
They made, like, you know, the big shows at the time, like the Arrow CW stuff, they mainly dwarfed them, made them feel like small time.
Yep.
It set a standard for superhero TV, yeah.
I remember James Gunn was like tweeting saying like this is the best adaptation of a superhero ever at the time. It's true. You watch that first season of Daredevil, it's like this is as good as it will be. Like in terms of telling a Daredevil story. Like
no one gets an arc here.
And like I'm always grateful for that. I mean, it's 13 hours of a show that ends and you can leave it at that, as you were saying earlier.
Fisk goes to prison at the end of 3.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very much like, all right, Fisk is going away forever. Matt can go do his own thing. Everyone wins.
But it would have been, if it was anything like this show, it would have been Fisk's in prison and then you see him like get out a spoon and he just starts digging, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Show's terrible. Please tell us what you thought.
Tell us if you loved it.
Yeah, I mean, if you liked it, that's fine. You're allowed to.
I feel like everybody fell off that. I mean, we attracted obviously people who didn't like it, but I feel like there's been a general shift of people not being too thrilled by the end of this.
I haven't heard any support for it in a very long time.
Because it kind of consistently wasn't good the whole time, but also because the ending really is a bit of a fizzle into season 2, which definitely doesn't get people being like, oh, but that last episode was sick.
Yes.
But like people are still saying episode 1, 8, and 9 are really good, and the rest they're like, trash.